Hello traders and Market Club members everywhere. Happy Monday to you. Well, it's quite a Monday, quite an event for mergers and acquisitions. The first stock we want to talk about is Allergan, and the symbol is AGN, and you can see that right here on the screen. And we started talking about this stock actually when we first had our buy signal on the 24th of September. And since then we've never had another signal. The signal came in at 174.49, and look what's happened. Boom, 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 boom. All the way up to today's announcement. The stock is up over 6% for the day, and they're rumored to be going to 219. Well, it's still a great trade. Stay with the trade, and we'll see what happens. Next stock we're looking at, Burton taking over Baker Hughes. They're down on that news. Not a good news. They're obviously in the oil space, and you can see the trend has really been pretty much on the downside. And you can see we just got to the top of the RSI indicator, which is the resistance. Remember, we talked about that before. You can see quite clearly right along this line here that it is resistance, and every time it's gotten there it's turned back down. Now they're trying to acquire Baker Hughes, and let's take a look at that stock, and this is where the trade triangles really shine. So here it is 3 days before. You can see right here that was a signal to cover a short position. Now the short position came on right here, and this level was at 67. So you shorted the stock at 67. You covered the position right here at 54.83. So you had a profit of $12.17. That's a profit, okay, on a short position. Plus, you avoided this move up. Now, no one could have predicted this, but something told us something was going on in this market. And the trade triangles, they told us that something was happening. Do not be short the stock anymore. And that's exactly what took place. So you had a chance to cover the position at 54.83, which is just right around there. And you can see what's happened since then. So again, another successful trade triangle trade in emergence position. So the first was Allergan. The next one was this stock BHI, Baker Hughes. So let's move on to our next market. Next stock we're looking at is Starbucks. And as you can see, we had a signal here at 78.47. The market's moved up. Not so much as we thought it was probably move a little higher, but it's beginning to sort of move sideways, a little bit concerning. But the PSAR comes in at 77.41 today. There's a little dot right below there. So if it goes below there, we may see more of a two-way market. But generally speaking, the trend is clearly up, and the key level is this level right here, this sort of resistance level. It's going to draw it with our trend line tool here. This is where it seems to be the problem for Starbucks. If we clear over that level, then I think you're looking at this market going much, much higher. Next stock is Cisco. We like the way this is acting. We talked about this last week, and you can see we're clearly over the 50 line and looking very strong. We think these 2 days plus today is a strong signal this market wants to go higher. We may see a couple of days where the market just sort of consolidates but continues higher later on. So watch that very, very carefully. We like this stock from the long side. Big Lots is a little bit of a disappointment with the way it moved today, but this level is to be watched. That is the PSAR, and Big Stocks is 48.01. It comes in today at 48.01, or 48.50, so half a dollar away, that signal. So watch that very carefully. But generally speaking, we like this stock. It's cleared the previous high, which you can see right here, and it would appear that it wants to go high. So we just draw a line across there. You can see this is where the support should come in. And we'll have to watch that very, very carefully. We talked about Alibaba last week, and also about how this was an important candle formation right here. This is a bearish engulfing line right here. We talked about that possibly being a top. We think that today's action, the fact that we're below the PSAR, which is the parabolic stop in reverse, is a negative sign for Alibaba. And this stop comes in at 119.46. That's with a PSR, which is right here. So we'll have to see how that plays out, but it's 46. So moving on to our next market. As you can see with crude oil, we've just continued to evaporate on the downside. Really not much more to say about that. We're at the levels we thought the market could go. If we scope this out further for, let's say, the life of this contract, we'll get an idea of just where the support comes in. And we think, I'll take all the trade triangles off so I'll give you a very clear idea. So I think somewhere along these levels here, the 70 to 65 level could be the ultimate support for this market. Very oversold, but nonetheless the trend is clearly down. Looking at gold, we sort of in a minus 65, which is the trading range. You see the conflict between the weekly and the daily. You know, we trade the weekly for trend, the daily for timing. So it's saying right now you should be on the sidelines in this market. You can see it's moved over the PSAR, which is now coming in gold at 1,147.85. That's today. I don't think that we're going to see that level today, but look at where it stopped, right at the 50 line on the RSI, which is a very strong indication that's where resistance is. So again, I'd watch this market pretty carefully because it looks like it may be trying to turn around. Not sure if it's going to do that yet, but the trend is your friend, and the trend continues to be down in gold. On the Dow Jones, you can see we sort of flattened out a little bit here. The PSAR is really, really tight on this market. 17,583. We're talking maybe 30, 40, 50 points from where it is right now. If it goes below that level, just as it went over here, we may see more of a pullback, possibly to this previous high. So I watch that very, very carefully today. Much the same story with the S&P 500, except it's below the PSAR, which is the first time that's happened since this day right here that we went over, and that's the 17th of October. So it's been over almost a month. We've seen this market go exactly a month, as a matter of fact. We've seen this market go over the PSA. Now it's below. So for one whole month, we've seen this market just churn out gain after gain after gain. So now it looks like the shoe's on the other foot, and we may see some pullback, possibly to the 2,000 mark. Now the NASDAQ just gave a signal today. You can see there the PSAR now is on the NASDAQ at 4,703. And we are currently trading at 4,663. So it looks like we may see more of a pullback on this stock. It may just go sideways. Again, we may just see something where the market gives you a signal but really doesn't go anywhere, just sort of like this, goes sideways, and then sort of starts back up again. So again, all of our trade triangles are positive, indicating the trend is clearly positive on the upside, and you can see that the RSI is also in a positive mode. Hey, that's all we've got for time for today. I hope you enjoyed this update, and be sure to tune in tomorrow. We'll have another update on all the markets. Have a great trading day, everyone.